My name is Beatriz Oliveira. I'm the CEO and founder of BindTuning. I have...
Hello, my name is Norberto Figueiredo. I'm PMO manager in Nokia Networks.
And
I'm Susana Silva and I'm a project manager and a business analyst at DevScope.
So just to situate ourselves in Nokia, so what is Nokia today? In Nokia we have several business areas. We are back to the mobile phones. We have new areas like health, innovation, virtual reality. But the main, let's say, business area is networks. And in Portugal, Nokia Networks have around 2,000 employees. Majority of them are working for services. And this is because in Portugal we have several centers of competence for services. We are exporting service to many countries around the world. One of that centers of competence is Project Management Center. Currently, we are managing projects for more than 20 countries in Europe and some also in Africa, and we have more than 100 projects. And it was here that we started looking to this challenge, to this problem. And okay, what is the problem? So, although we have a lot of tools to support our project execution and also our project management, our main communication channel between Nokia Project Management and the customer is still the email. And the email with all the reports in PowerPoint, Excel, Word, that is a good solution, but as you know, today that brings a lot of challenge and is not efficient anymore. And especially on this environment that we are working with customers remotely in other countries, so the distance also creates here the need for a different communication solution. So we request the support to BindTuning to help us creating this unified communication channel. So what was the request or the main ideas pillars that we present to BindTuning? So first, in Nokia, we are using Office 365 as an internal solution. And for us, it looks a good idea also to use this solution and to extend these potentialities to our customer. Of course, this solution for us is we need internal access, intranet and extranet, and access for our internal collaborators and also for our customers. The information is already available. We have a lot of information related to our projects, so this solution must use that information, not create the need to create new information. We didn't know too many details about the architecture of the solution, but okay, we have several customers, so the idea is to have one site, one portal per one of these customers, and then one site per each project of that customers. And of course, have here some level of user permissions, control, in order to make sure that only the right people access to the right information. With this, we don't want, the idea was not to create something with a big effort in terms of maintaining, operating. So one request was also, okay, our number of customers, number of projects is very dynamic, so we need a solution that every time we need a new site for a customer or we have a new project, it must be very easy to create a new site. Okay, and basically the solution was created, and so what we have is a centralized SharePoint site with all the information of the projects. Is a tool where the project managers use in Lisbon, and they use this to communicate to all the customers, and each customer have a customer portal and one dedicated then sub-portal, sub-site per project. Want to say something? No? Okay, so maybe we can see what we have now in terms of solution. So also we present to Bind what was our request in terms of features, and then BindTuning present as a solution together with DevScope, and this is the outcome. So an example here of the customer site. Some features that we can see, of course, is the basic information about the customer, that this is useful also for us internally. So this is a customer portal, but at the same time, it's a very useful tool for our project managers and even to share information between them. Until now, this information was spreaded offline, so it was very hard to find information for one project manager to find information about the project of other colleague. Then something simple but very useful, the Nokia contacts to the customer. This way we can keep it updated all the time. If we change someone or some contacts in the team, there is no need to send an email and to make sure that this is getting to everyone. Also a way to share some news or some alerts to the customer, and this way make sure that with this additional communication channel everyone will have this information. Quick links for other Nokia tools. We have other tools, other portals for in other contents, but here customer can have a place where you will find all the links. Sharing documents with the customer was not easy until now to have a place to share or to work in the same document with the customer, and then an overview of the projects of that customer.
I think it's relevant to say that, for example, on this page, and this is valid for all the rest of the pages that were created, some of the functionality are based in out-of-the-box BindTuning web parts. So, for example, in this case, we have like the context is coming from a BindTuning web part. Those tiles that represent on the other side are also coming from BindTuning web part. The published documents also is coming from a web part, the news too. But for example, that center lower web part was developed by DevScope customly for the project. So these templates, the site templates, both for the customer portal as well as for the project portal, were kind of this mix of out-of-the-box functionality for everything that we could do that would deploy it faster. So we were able actually to create a prototype. It was not a prototype, it was actually a pilot. The pilot phase for this project was only 2 weeks. And in 2 weeks' time, we had actually a very big chunk of these templates done because we were using out-of-the-box web parts, which only had to be configured. And then the rest of the project, which were an additional 6 weeks, were spent developing not only the custom web parts that had to be included in the projects, but also the provisioning engine that we will talk about in a minute.
Exactly. So let's have a look to the project portal. So in the project portal we have some similar features, web parts. Again, the information of the project, the contacts, the project management team, other contacts, news. We can also put news now at project level, because now this information is specific for the people that have access to this specific project. Then specific applications for the project. Here is an example of one that was adapted.
That was our role, to help Nokia understand which features from out-of-the-box, SharePoint out-of-the-box and BindTuning were suitable for each feature that they wanting to present to their customers. So we help them to translate these needs into out-of-the-box features using only SharePoint and BindTuning products, and that's what's our role there, minimize all the customized feature that was needed.
Example, so here the project manager can put the project plan and then show the project plan in a timeline, or also in a timeline or a Gantt chart, exactly, thank you. So something that typically the project manager needs to the customer is to track action points. And many times this is done manually with documents flying around. So now we use this for the action items between us and the customer, and we run the meetings looking to this information. We don't need any additional support. Here is an example where with a nice interface we can easily track all the action items, the status, the open ones, the ones that are delayed. Then another example of an application that DevScope adapted, that was to here in this case is the definition of the responsibility matrix. That is something that we need to make sure that is always clear between us and the customer. So now this is online. Everyone that have some doubts about who should do what can come here and.
This was developed specifically.
Requirements were, we have to be very flexible, and we have to attend special needs for some projects. So our role was to help it to take some knowledge from the process center, Nokia Project Management Center, and to be able to give them some support to how to get all these requirements into the system as out of the box as it can be. Only situations that couldn't be attended, we developed some web parts.
Yes, in this particular page, I think that the central web parts were all custom developed. So those are the ones that are business specific, and then we have a lot of web parts that were adapted from what came out of the box with BindTuning.
This architecture had to be suitable to be provided to get to the provisioning tool to get the sites done, because much more information is managed at project level center. So it has to be flexible enough to create with some specific information to be added down there at the project or up there at the center. It was a very, very nice project to develop with.
So it's something that until now we were doing manually with a big effort to update and customize, and now like this we have a site with this, and our project managers really appreciate this, and even our customer, when they see this, they like it, because now they have visibility for the status of their own projects. And okay, we have a discussion board, so another communication channel where we can communicate here with the customer, and we have 2 areas where we can publish documents, share documents with the customer, or an area that is shared documents when we can collaborate on the same document. That until today we were using these internally in Nokia, but it was not possible to do with people outside the organization, and especially with the customer.
So by using the BindTuning framework to create the initial templates, so we're only focusing on the creation of the site templates. There were several benefits that were taken out of this development. So first, the flexibility to integrate with existing data. So this was a requirement. Nokia already had a lot of information standing and sitting in SharePoint lists. So one of the requirements was to actually use that information, not create some sort of new data structure. No, it was taking advantage of the existing structure and just showing information differently. Speeding up development. As I said, we did an amazing pilot in 2 weeks, and those 2 weeks were actually kind of 1 week, because the first week it was vacation period, so there was bumps during the first week. So we're talking about a very, very short period of time to put a pilot in place, and a total development time of 2 months to create the entire project. So using the framework was really helpful in that sense. Obviously, there is a lot of optimization in terms of performance that is done by the BindTuning team on a consistently basis. So that's what we do with the product, and this guarantees that Nokia does not have to worry about that. We have currently about 25,000 customers. So when I say customers, I mean companies worldwide using the product. Very, very big corporations that are using BindTuning assets for their intranets. And this means that obviously we have a lot of stress put into our tools, and it means that they have to run impeccably in terms of performance. So this is done on a daily basis. There is a seamless user interface, so you can see by those 2 examples that everything is like this unique interface. And you only saw 2 pages, but each of these portals has around 40 pages. And the entire interface is this integrated tool. Obviously, there is the ability in terms of future to maintain the solution. Since it's product-based, it's not custom development. Most of the solution is upgraded as we go. So BindTuning continues to work on the web parts. We continue to develop new versions of the tool as Microsoft launches new versions of SharePoint and Office 365. So as new versions come out, Nokia will only have to go to BindTuning and get a new version, and everything is up to date. So future-wise, obviously, this is very important to guarantee the maintenance and the compatibility of the solution in the long term. And now this brings us to the really unique feature of this project, which I think it's really amazing, and that is the provisioning engine. So for those of you, I believe that right now almost everyone must have heard about PNP. Yeah, so it's a very popular topic at this moment. I'm not even going to talk about it. So this is just a slide to show the framework on top of which we developed this provisioning engine. So we used PNP. And we did develop a provisioning engine for Nokia that works the following way. Basically, as a first step, us, alongside with Fscope, we used BindTuning frameworks, themes, web parts, and tools to put on the site templates that you see on that site. Site template means that we only developed one customer portal and we developed one project portal. Those are to be the templates for every portal to be deployed in the future. Obviously, these were extensively studied and implemented to make sure that we are ready for any requirement that comes from any customer in the future. These templates go into the provisioning engine, and automatically, every time a new customer is engaged or every time a new project starts, Nokia only has to kind of click one button and one portal is deployed automatically. What do? They sign in to Office 365. As a request from Nokia, we implemented this interface using the BindTuning tiles web parts, which gives them a full overview of all the lists in SharePoint that are managing data. And basically, this is the first step towards creating a customer entity or a project entity in the system. And as soon as they create this entity in the SharePoint lists, they have the entity represented in this interface that makes part of the provisioning tool. And this is a list of all the customers in the tool currently. In this example, whenever they want to start a new project, they basically have a button there that says Create. They click on Create, enter a couple of information about the project that is to be started, and this is all dummy data. Start provisioning. Takes about 6 to 12 minutes, depending on the type of portal, because one is bigger than the other. And after that time, what happens is that they have a link there, and clicking on that link, basically it gives them access to a fully blown website, already provisioned with real customer data.
And with data.
That's it, with data on it. So it's a complete website. It's reading data from their data sources. So either they are files or information in SharePoint lists. So we're talking about different sources of information, and they all feed the website. So it's a fully automated process. We're talking about an average of 20 pages per site. One of the sites actually has like 40. In terms of SharePoint lists, 16 SharePoint lists on average per site. And we're talking about a deployment time of 9 minutes, which is really amazing. Doing one of these sites customly by hand, if we wanted to deploy one of these, and using the BindTuning web parts. So I'm not even talking about custom development. If we wanted to use the BindTuning web parts and just configure them to create one of these portals, it would take us from 2 to 3 days. This means that in terms of development time, it's a gain of 99% in development time. And in terms of cost savings, we estimate that in a period of 3 years, Nokia will probably spend around 75% in costs. Obviously, this is way less prone to errors because the solution is self-contained. It means that there is no manual intervention, After the template is done and finished, there is no way that we will have errors or differences between the portals, right? So it's, I think it's an incredible solution, honestly. So, okay, so this is what we wanted to show you. I don't know. Thank you.
Thank you.